Welcome to yet another episode. This is 2026. It's great to have you on board. We are going to focus on dollar index. This is the demand chart you're currently seeing. Next, we are going to focus on the supply chart, and we can have a quick preview so that we can have a insight of what the market is currently preparing ahead. So this is the daily time frame on the demand chart, and coming to see the previous year where we have been. This is January last year. A time like this is where the market was. So this year we expect some bullish run all the way up, but since we are here at the current price, let's focus where the current money is. So last week the market closed with a bullish. Checking on the weekly time frame, we're able to see that the buyers had a good run up, and we are waiting to observe more bullish momentum preceding the coming week up to the next demand level, which is 100.274. So just to enlighten those who are new to this channel, we've had this demand and supply chart for the longest time. This is more than 5 years. This is the 6th year. Never altered any of the levels, having them intact. So we trust them, we believe in their reliability, and we are here just setting and forget. The next bullish, when you observe these charts and you see the red lines, they're the levels, the demand or the supply. The green lines are the pivot lines, which are the middle range between the demand and the demand levels. So the pivot are the green lines, and on the lower time frame you're able to see the blue lines. So the blue lines will be acting as, you're not seeing them right now, but the blue lines will be acting as the lower time frame demand levels. So this is how it goes. Price needs to move from one demand zone into the next demand zone. Simple. And in the supply zone, price has to move from one supply zone. If we are checking here, this is the blue zones, which are the moving over the lower time frame levels. So in supply zone, price has to move from one supply zone into the next supply zone, and that's how it's done. So if the market is moving in a bullish momentum, we are going to look at the demand zones, and we are going to anticipate price moving from one demand zone into the next demand zone. And if the price is going bearish, we are going to observe the price moving from one supply zone into the next supply zone. That's how it is. Simple and precise. We don't analyze charts in one POV, but we have both demand and supply. So if the price is going bullish, we are going to, the current price closed at the demand zone. So this week we either see the price going into the next demand zone, or the buyers took their partial profits, which can create a lower high here. Then the price can come, create a higher low, and then we continue into the next demand zone. But necessarily we anticipate that the buyers might continue pushing the price higher, because on the supply chart we are not seeing any presence of the sellers spreads. The next supply zone is the pivot supply level, which is 99.798, and the main supply zone is quite above. So we are safe with buying the dollar index. Fast forward, let's focus on the demand chart. So on the higher time frame, on the weekly time frame, necessarily, but we'll start with the monthly time frame, we are able to depict that the monthly candle is bullish, but it's still an inside bar. It's still inside the previous month's bearish volume. So that buyers need to consume the previous monthly volume. They need to take price into 100.274, which is the pivot demand level, and any price above it will confirm that the buyers are interested to push price into the next demand zone, which is 100.431. Yeah, that's it. So right now the next target will be 100.274. It seems so simple, but it's so accurate. Checking on the daily time frame, yeah, as we have said, so clear. We are anticipating for the next target to be at 100.274. If buyers will push lower, we don't think so. Yeah, we're just having our confidence that the buyers will push into the next 100.274 and continue higher and take price into the major demand zone where they'll take profits, which is around 102.431. The next analysis we're going to check is the supply chart, and the supply chart shows us that the sellers are not present at the market, and it's quite intriguing to understand that the sellers took price from the supply zone and took their profits at the next supply zone. Yeah, which is quite interesting of how the sellers are quite professional in their execution. Yeah, and you see this is the mid-range. This is the mid-range actually from the supply zone into the next. Actually, there is something interesting that we are observing here. Okay, so let's come back here. So this is, let's zoom it here and put it up to where the current price is. So the sorry from the previous supply zone, into the current supply zone, we are able to see that the price is actually at the midpoint of the supply range. All right, price is actually at the midpoint of the major supply levels, meaning that the sellers might make an entry right there, but the price needs to push higher into the next supply zone. So in the higher time frame sentiments, we expect price to push into the next supply zone, which is around 1,233 points away. Yeah, this is a secret that not many people could fathom, but it really makes sense. Yeah, so let's cut it off. We don't see any reason why price should push lower, and if it pushes lower, we so bet sure that the price will just come back into the supply zone. Sellers take their profits and price continue pushing higher. So we say this is half of where the price needs to go. All right, so that's it. The other confluences that might trigger us to have bullish momentum is the third analysis. Checking on the monthly time frame, the bars, you can see the price aims to go higher, and if it comes down, it just come back here and still go up. So we are hopeful that the buyers will push the price higher. On the weekly time frame, yeah, still that the price tested a support, and we expect more bullish momentum. Yeah, on the next analysis, we have this is the channel. We have the uptrend channel, and it's interesting to see that the monthly candle tries to hit the support, the resistance, the resistance, but it's still yet to hit. So this week we might see more bullish momentum coming in play. Yep, nothing more, nothing less, still bullish on the daily time frame and the weekly time frame. Yeah, the next we have the gun, which looks to position the bars in the right trajectory, and we seeing the bars on the weekly time frame. All over the weeks they have been trying to find support, and even on this candle here on the 14th of September, the bars ensure that the price close above the neckline of the support, and the previous week of the current time frame, of the current time, last week on the closing, the last candle of the month of December, the last candle of the year 2025, we had a push up, which was a support. In aligning with the gun, we see that the buyers are confident that we need to push price high. If you check on the daily time frame, you are allowed to see a very precision of analysis. Yeah, we are very able to see that the precision in the analysis. So nothing happens by coincidence, but everything is just a alignment of laws. So nothing happens by coincidence. You better be gripped to laws, and you can be able to see that the bars are coming slowly but surely. They are inside the zone, and we expect more bullish momentum of price. Yeah, even on the 4 time frame, everything looks clear that the bars are interesting aggressively in their zone. The next one, we check on the supply with the gun, and on the monthly time frame, you're able to see that the previous month retested the support and pushed price back up. The current month of January pushing price back up. Checking on the weekly time frame, again aligns very precisely and with intentionality. So this month this month candle was a very precision. The open, the retest, the low of the week was coming from a support from the bars. So we're in for bars, guys. Everything looks green for bars. On the daily time frame, still looks sharp with the bars having their way through. Yeah, nothing else. What do you think? This is the moving average from the higher time frame to the lower time frame. Checking on the monthly time frame, we are seeing that the bars are up, so price is above the moving average. So we expect more push, and the next resistance is around 100.092 and 101.33 on the monthly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we are seeing that the price is yet to hit the resistance. On the daily time frame, price is green for buyers. So on the institutional time frame, moving average shows us that the monthly time frame looks positive for bullish momentum. On the weekly time frame, still bullish after price had tested the moving average, got the support at 97.760 around there, and we're in for bars. On the daily time frame, we still see bullish momentum coming in play. Yeah, that's it for coming from our side. Sorry about it, having a cold. That's it for the week. So precise, and just to affirm what we have just mentioned, checking on the daily time frame, the last week, the weekly candle closed on the moving average on the demand zone, and we are interested to see that the coming week we observe buyers pushing price into the pivot, which is 100.274, and on the coming month or on the next wave, we expect 102.431 to be the next target for the bars. On the supply chart, we are being confirmed that the sellers took their profits and left the market. So the first candle was a reaction of the sellers taking profit of their supply orders, which caused a reduction in volume, and there was a green candle, the bullish candle. So this coming week, we saw the buyers confirming that they took advantage of the absence of sellers to push price higher. So there being no sellers, we expect sellers to be positioned at 99.798. Any process of weakness will push sellers up into the main supply zone, where we'll observe a base at 100.652. So for now, continue buying. Till then, have a good week. Cheers. Set and forget.